What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be all about the upcoming TBR. Now, these videos in general always make me super excited and I am very pumped to share the upcoming reads with you. Last month, we did a lot of series. We did the Red Rising series, we did the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and the Bromance Book Club series, and I absolutely enjoyed it. And I realized as I was looking through my bookshelves that there's a lot of various series that I've half started but not quite completed. And I'm kind of in this kick of wanting to finish my series. Also, there have been a couple of books that were selected for the two book clubs that I'm a part of, which I'm excited to read. One is in the fantasy realm and one is more in, actually, I don't actually know what it's about. So we will find out together when we get to that book. And then, of course, outside of that, the random book on this month's is going to be Funny Story by Emily Henry. I absolutely adore Emily Henry. I think she's a phenomenal writer. I don't think there's a single book that she's written that I haven't enjoyed. In order, I would have to say my top favorite was Book Lovers. I absolutely adored Book Lovers, followed very closely for me by Beach Read. So it was like Book Lovers, Beach Read, Happy Place, People We Meet on Vacation, but still all within the 4 to 5 star realm. So I'm really excited to see what the new book has to offer us. So that got released this month, so I'm really pumped to read that. Or sorry, it got released end of last month, so I'm really excited to read that. But speaking of things that are getting released and series, another series that has been a fan favorite for so many people on television and in novel form form is Bridgerton. And so I have had the opportunity to read the first Bridgerton book and I absolutely loved the Duke and I interpretation in terms of the first season. I've also watched the second season and I've read about half of the second book of The Viscount Who Loved Me, but I haven't actually finished it. So I do want to go back and read it because I think Julia Quinn's writing is absolutely phenomenal. And then of course, as we all know, the new season is coming out soon following Colin and Penelope. So I'm really excited for that. Now there is a book in between the Colin and Penelope book. So I am planning on reading the next 3 books in the Bridgerton series. I don't think I'll be able to finish the full series because it is a total of 8 books. So I'm hoping to read 3 this time and then maybe try to go for the next 4 next month, but we'll see what ends up happening. So first and foremost, we have The Viscount Who Loved Me. So this is Anthony's story. And as you can see, the cover of this is just absolutely gorgeous. This is the Illumicrate version of the books and I'm in love with these books. The spines of the books, when you put them together, basically forms the Bridgerton house with all the Bridgerton characters, which is so cute. And then they all have beautiful spring colors in terms of all the spines and the painted edges. It's just stunning. So very excited to read this. And then after that, we have An Offer from a Gentleman. And I believe this follows Benedict. Yes, I think this one follows Benedict, if I'm not mistaken, and Sophie. So I am excited to read this one as well. I could be totally off on this, but that is what I recall. So I am excited to read this one as well. So very much pumped to get into this book, and it's just absolutely gorgeous as well. And then the third book, which is the long anticipated season that's also coming out, is Colin and Penelope's story. And this is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. I'm very excited for this one. And it just so happens that green is my favorite color. So Lady Featherington at her best. I'm very excited to see what she has in store for us and what is going to happen in this novel. So very excited to read this one. And I'm sorry it's so shiny on the camera, but I feel like I can blind someone. Take an eye out with that, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I love the fact that it's the quill, but we'll definitely get back to you guys on these 3 because I have to say the first Bridgerton book, The Duke and I, came as a shock value surprise. I was impressed with how much I love that book, and it was definitely a solid 5-star read for me. I think for the vibes that it was giving, that Regency romance, it was just so well done. There was such quirky, gimmicky moments to the book. It was also just like the dialect, man, the banter eats in that book for me. So I really enjoyed it. I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the series. And I also love Violet. I love how she is with her children. It just makes me so happy. So I'm very excited to read the rest of that series. Next up, I had read Flawless in the Elsie Silver's 5-book series following all the characters in Chestnut Springs. And I so happen to have the next 4 books in the series, and I happen to have the special editions of those books. So I do plan on reading those books this month. In fact, I've already finished Heartless, and it was a solid 5-star for me. I love Cade. I love him. I love him. Anyway, sorry. Neither here nor there. Willa's entertaining. Willa's cute. I think she's very quirky and entertaining character, but for me, it was all about Cade. I freaking loved Cade. And I love the kid. I love Luke. I fell in love with Luke too. But this was a great, great, great book. And so I just was like, you know, after this one, I just have to keep going. So now I'm reading Powerless, which is following Jasper and his, basically the girl that he's known forever, Sloane, who has been his like childhood friends to sweetheart vibes on this one. And it's so cute. It's very endearing. It's very sweet. I love the fact that they have the little ballerina on the cover, since Sloane is a ballerina, and it's so much fun. I also love that these chapters have like these beautiful first pages where it just like kind of depicts that ballet shoe as you're getting into the new chapter. And then in the Heartless ones, it has the guitar to indicate Willa's guitar playing, and it's just so cute. But love, love, love these series so far, and I'm very much enjoying Powerless as well. I have a feeling this is also going to be a fan favorite. I don't know if it's quite going to be a 5-star, but definitely at least a 4-star for me already. But we'll see where this goes. Right now, I'm at the part where they're in the hotel room together, and that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But for those who have read the series, I'm very excited to finish it, and I'm sure you all felt the same way too. So definitely moving forward with these. So I'm about halfway through Powerless. I think I'll probably finish it tomorrow. That's the goal. So we'll see if I can get through it or not. Then we have Reckless, which is following the older sister of one of the characters in the first book in Flawless. So it's basically following Summer's sister, Winter. So I am very excited to read this, especially after she's finally getting rid of the douchebag doctor who basically was cheating on her and basically manipulating her younger sister while stringing her along as well. So I'm really glad that she got out of that relationship. And Theo Silva, I'm very excited to see his role in this as well. We were introduced to Theo's character by Rhett in the first book, and I absolutely adore the fact that Theo was like his little brother that he just takes under his wing, and he's like, I'll get you to that cowboy level of fame as a bull rider. And so I'm just really excited to see their relationship, because Theo just broke, like, he's just like one of those characters where you just think he's going to be super happy and fun and cheerful and sunshiny, and Winter's just like, I feel very deep, but she comes off very icy. And so I'm very curious to see their play together. So I think this will also be very fun to read, and I'm very much excited to see what happens in this one. And then last but not least, we have Hopeless, and this is following the last brother in the Eaton series, Mr. Beau, and it's also going to follow the outcast bartender. I think the only like real referral I've had to her so far was in the book with Cade and Willa, where they kind of mentioned that she's like the only good sheep in a family of black sheeps. So I'm very curious what's going to happen with that too, and the fact that it all starts off as a bet. I think it'll be very fun, fast-paced read as well. But overall, I'm definitely, after at least the second book with Cade and Willa, I'm starting to understand everyone's obsession with this series and the small town and the cowboy vibes and all of it, and I'm here for it, and I'm super excited to finish this series. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I have allergies out the wazoo, and I've been like sniffling and eye itching all day. I did take a COVID test. It was negative. I don't have a fever, so like I'm good, but it's just like those May allergies are a very real thing. Next up, we have Jody Thomas's Breakfast at Honey Creek Cafe. Now, this is one of the books that was selected for our book club pick, and this is with Paper and Glam. So this is the one where I was saying, I don't actually know what this is about, so let's read it together. Piper Jane McKenzie, mayor of Honey Creek, won't let a major scandal rip her quirky hometown apart or jeopardize her dream of one day running for higher office. So she's willing to welcome undercover detective Colby McBride, hired to help solve the mystery behind her wannabe fiance's disappearance. Colby's cover? That he is an old boyfriend now begging Piper for a second chance. Always when there are plenty of townsfolk around to witness his shenanigans. Piper hardly knows whether to laugh or cry, especially when she finds herself drawn to the handsome rascal. He's not the only newcomer she has to deal with. There's a new intern preacher in town, Sam Cassidy. Drifting from one assignment to another since his loved one died, Sam isn't sure he's the right fit for Honey Creek. But as Piper knows, this is a place chock full of surprises. And if she can keep her town and her heart from going completely off the rails, there may be a sweet, unexpected future in store. This is going to give me Magnolia Parks vibes. Not Magnolia Parks vibes, sorry. Magnolia's vibe, the TV show that came out with the 3 girls who are friends in the small town city. It kind of gives me that vibe. I'm very excited to read it. Or it kind of gives me like Heart of Dixie vibes, like that small town quirky vibe with like the woman who's like in power and trying to like save her town, but also has all these romances that are being thrown at her. So I think this will be a fun, fast-paced read. We'll see what it has to offer, but I am excited to see where it takes us. And that is the one that is not a part of a series. Next up, we have Rain. This is book 4 in the American Royal series. This is a young adult series. Basically, the concept being that there are these siblings who are part of the Washington royal family line, and this is under the impression that America has a monarchy. So basically, if General Washington had never refused the role of being king, what would America look like with democracy and everything else, but also with a political party, rather than political parties, having a monarchy in power and in lead. So that is what this series is about. And it follows 4 main characters telling the stories, and it's all from the perspective of women characters. So there's Beatrice, who is the eldest daughter and soon to be the monarch, the queen, the one who's basically being groomed to take over for her father. She will also be the first legitimate queen that doesn't have a king consort at the time of when she's going to be starting to rule. So there's a lot of interesting things that she goes through, and her character is like very relatable for me because she's the eldest, she's very responsible, she's expected to fill these roles, and she's very good at hiding and bottling her emotions. So I really, really loved her character, and I love the way the story is told from her perspective. Then there's Sam, who's the younger sister. She is kind of like the middle child syndrome character. She feels like she doesn't really have a role. She doesn't know where she fits. She feels like she's just a spare part, always causing drama, always causing issues. She does have a slight selfish streak, but at the same time, she loves fiercely and she loves to protect the one she cares about. But she does make some blundering mistakes sometimes, and drama does tend to find her. So she makes the book very interesting. Then there's Nina, who is Sam's best friend and also happens to be in love with her brother and is trying to figure out how to navigate that relationship because she and Sam and Jeff have been friends forever. And then you have Daphne, who is basically from a family of title, but they don't have the same level of power or title that the royals have. And she is currently dating the prince. And her whole goal in life, the way she was groomed and the way she was raised, is to basically be in a position of power and do whatever it takes to get there. And she comes off as very ruthless, ugly character at first, but as you start understanding her character and who she is internally, you can appreciate her character a little bit more. It doesn't excuse a lot of the things she does, but you do understand kind of where her character is coming from. So I have really enjoyed watching her character as well, and that would be the character of Daphne. So that being said, this is the 4th book in the series, and so I'm very excited to be neck deep into this book. I'm about a quarter of a way through the book. We're at page 100. We have exactly 412 pages. So yeah, right about a 4th through the book. So I'm very excited to keep moving forward in this book and seeing where it takes us. Next up, this has been either a fan favorite or do not like it at all series across the internet. It took the internet by storm last year, and the new book just released this year in this series. And I am, of course, talking about Magnolia Parks. Now, I did read the first book as well as Daisy Hates recently, and I did post those in videos. I love Daisy Hates. Love Daisy Hates. Love Julian. Love Daisy herself. Love Christian, the main love interest in that series. I'm definitely a bigger fan of that character set in that universe than I am of the Magnolia Parks box set per se, and her and BJ. But I also have a soft spot for their drama as well. So I'll definitely continue reading it. I also realize you can't read Daisy Hates without reading Magnolia Park. So I do plan on picking up this book. Because I've read the first 2 books, I do want to go ahead and finish up the series so far. I know Jessa Hastings is planning on writing more books for the Daisy Hates books, but I know this is like the last book she was going to write for the Magnolia Park series. So that's 3 books total from the perspective of Magnolia and BJ. So I am very curious to see where the next books will go. But we had left off where Magnolia has basically run away and she's now being brought back into London society and has to deal with the drama and the fallout of where the books left off in the first one of Magnolia Park. So I'm excited to see where this will go. So that being said, we have The Long Way Home, Magnolia Parks, which is on the list today. And these books are chunky books. I mean, they're chunky books. This is like 550 pages or something like that. Let me double check before I quote incorrect numbers. 530 pages, my bad. But I am excited to power through them. Surprisingly, they're really fast reads and they're fun reads. I also love the fashion in this. I'm absolutely obsessed with fashion. Like high-end fashion, I love it. So that being said, like when it comes to luxury and the products that she's talking about, the designer she's talking about, I really enjoy that part. I think it's a very, very entertaining read. So I'm curious to see where this will take us and what new characters we get to meet. That being said, because I am planning on completing the series, we then have Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. So I am excited to read this and kind of see where Daisy and Julian are at the end of this book. And then last not least, we have Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. And this is the last book that they are writing from the Magnolia, or not they, but Jessa Hastings is writing from the perspective of Magnolia and BJ. So I am very excited to finish this book as well. I also have to say the cover of this book is my absolute favorite. This is the British version of the books. And I love the white with the gold as well. But these books are just gorgeous. Like if nothing else, I just enjoy the fact that they're on my bookshelf and I just think they're done so well. And I will be fully and totally wearing my Magnolia Parks merch while I'm reading this. I have sweaters, I have tote bags, I have the whole shebang. I'm very, very excited. And I have to say, I really love Daisy Hates. So I'm excited to dig into these books as well. Then the last 2 books on our list, we have A Fate Inked in Blood. This is the book that we are planning to read for the book club, the Overbooked book club. It was what our entire group voted on. So I'm very excited to read this. It is book 1 of a series to come. It was released this month, last month. It was released in April, this past month. March. Wow, my dates are off, guys. I keep forgetting it's already May. It's already May. It's 2024 and it's already May. It's insane. It's insane. Anyways, that being said, so this was released in March. It was voted as the pick of May last month during April, because I like to give at least a month in between new book releases. So if anyone wants to get it from the library or they want to have it on Libby or something like that, it's not something that they're going to be unable to get. So I am very curious to see where this takes us. From my understanding, Freya is in a marriage. She's trapped in a marriage that she doesn't want to be a part of. And she knows that her power is in her bones. And it's about her kind of figuring out her own voice and her own sense of self, even though she's married to this horrible, brutish man, because she really doesn't like her husband, and kind of moving through there. Before I speak incorrectly, though, let's just read it together. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish, but dreams of becoming a warrior and putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. So I was correct. Yay! Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the regent's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son, Jorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack. And it's been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation of Scotland beneath the one who controls the Shield Maiden's fate. Believing he's destined to rule Scotland as king, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Jorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to flight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Jorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she has sworn to protect. So we'll see where this takes us. I am very curious to see how this one will go. I did listen to a snippet from the Audible version of this book, and I have to say I wasn't a huge fan of the narrator's voice in that. So I have a feeling I'll probably end up reading it. But from my understanding, there should be some Norse-based mythology concepts in this book. So I am curious to see where that will take us. So I'm definitely excited to read it, definitely excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited for the fantasy vibes. Last but not least, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I fully plan on diving into this very, very soon. I have never read an Emily Henry book and been disappointed, as I mentioned before, so I'm definitely very excited to read Funny Story. I also have all of these covers in, no, not all of them. I have Book Lovers and Happy Place in the US versions, and then I have Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. Yeah, People We Meet on Vacation in the British versions. And then I have Funny Story in the British version because I just think this cover is so cute and I love it. So definitely very excited to read this as well. But altogether, we have a total of 13 books, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm sorry, 14 books this month. So hopefully I'll be able to get through all of them. I think last month I got through 13 books, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's very doable. It's just a question mark of whether or not I'll hit a reading slump. So far, I've really been enjoying the Elsie Silver books, and I, like I said, am moving through Powerless and Rain simultaneously. I do Powerless during the day, and then at Rain, I read at night. So anytime I'm sitting down on the couch and just chilling, I'll read Powerless. Sorry. And then anytime I'm about to get into bed, then I'm usually reading Rain. So Rain is moving a little bit more slowly than the Elsie Silver books are moving, but I'm very excited to complete all these series and get back to you with a reading wrap up soon. But thanks so much for joining me, guys. Definitely let me know what all of your TBR reads are for the month. I know it's a little bit into the month already, so feel free to throw in the books you've already read too. If you have any books you think I should be reading or any recommendations, definitely leave them in the comments below. I'm always excited to check out new books and definitely see what other people are reading. And as always, if you are into reading and you like this little bookish community, then definitely stay with us and join us and hit that notification bell and that subscription button so that you get notified anytime a new video comes out. I do try to post every Wednesday and Sunday, and I look forward to spending those days with you guys, just talking everything books. But thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye, guys.